All right, I have a special video for you today. I have a guest, the lovely and beautiful Theresa DeWaay. Yes, this is my wife. Say hello to YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
So 6 years on the channel, and this is her first appearance. So she wanted to ask me some questions. I've been in business for almost 6 years at this point. So she wanted to ask me some questions kind of about Colin DeWaay Training and some random stuff. I actually have no idea what the questions are. We thought it'd be more fun to just kind of have her ask them. I'll just answer whatever comes from the heart, and we'll just kind of go from there. So I hope you guys like it.
All right, thank you, and thank you for having me on your channel today. So again, Colin doesn't know what any of these questions are, so I'm trying to mix it up. Hopefully we can spill a little tea and then learn a bit more about Colin DeWaay Training. Okay, first question. Your favorite part of being a strength and nutrition coach?
Definitely just the fact that I impact people's lives. Like I actually make some sort of a difference in the world. So I spent 15, actually more like 17 years total in the print world, just kind of helping ink go on paper and cutting stuff and just not really doing anything other than making money for a company. So the fact that I feel like I improve people's lives, I am a part of them. I love my clients and I love the interaction, and you know, I grow really close connections with them. So to have that kind of personal side of things, and it's just very rewarding when things go well and you know you can see that you have helped somebody change their life, and sometimes in very significant ways. Well, I don't ever really like to take much credit for myself because it's all about the person and they have to put in the work, and that's what they do, and that's why they get the results. But knowing that I at least aided in that somewhat is very rewarding, and I love it.
Great, that's an awesome answer. And being your wife and also being a client, I definitely see that, and I've heard the feedback from others, so I think that's a great answer. Okay, so now for a fun question. Here we go. Choose one restaurant you could go to every day for 6 months.
Does it have to be a current restaurant?
No, we'll give you some flexibility.
Okay, so there was a restaurant called Salty Rum Grill that we used to go to frequently. So when we first moved to Florida, a little bit of a backstory here. If you don't know, we changed our lives completely about 6 years ago. It was a long process. I won't go into a lot of detail. I actually have a video that talks about kind of the struggles and going through this process that I'll put in the description if you want to check it out afterwards. But basically, long story short, we moved from Minnesota to Florida, sold our house, had to go we were way underwater and had to borrow money to close, and moved in with my parents and moved down here, started a new company. So we were very broke for the first couple of years. Very, very, very broke.
Yeah.
Trying to get started. And we were able to get some really good deals at this restaurant that's right on the water. It was a beautiful view. They had really good food. They had amazing drinks. They had these rum runners that both of us just loved, and they were reasonably priced. And we just had so many good memories and went there so often. Unfortunately, they went out of business a couple of years ago, and we really missed them. But if we could go back, I could eat there all the time just for the scenery and the memories, really.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite places, and I probably would have said the same thing. So that's awesome. Okay, what is the hardest part of online coaching?
Hardest part of online coaching, I would have to say, and I don't want any clients who hear this to take this the wrong way, it can be difficult hearing frequently over and over from several different people who have a really tough relationship with body image, body weight, the struggles that can come with that. And I'm always trying to help. And you hear me talk about this on the channel all the time about the importance of not getting wrapped up in body image, body weight, things like that, trying to live a happy life. But it's difficult to do, especially when you have a long history of that thought process. It's difficult to get over that. So sometimes I can have some days where it's just one after another of clients just saying, oh, I hate how fat I am, and I, this and that, and just really coming down on themselves and being really hard on themselves unfairly. And just hearing that over and over can take a toll sometimes, and it can kind of get to me a little bit because I so desperately want all my clients to be happy and to not have these issues, but it's not something that just comes overnight, and I get that. And that's part of the reward, is helping them get over that. But in the moment when it happens frequently, it can be very difficult. And I try not to get frustrated. Sometimes I do, being honest. And any client who hears this, please don't feel like you shouldn't tell me the truth. You shouldn't, don't feel like you shouldn't be honest with me and tell me what you're going through. I need you to, I want you to. I can't help you if I don't know what you're going through. And I always encourage my clients to be very open, very honest, communicate really well. And there's no such thing as too much information and things like that. So please continue to do that. But sometimes it can be a little difficult and a little overwhelming. And between that and then every once in a while you get somebody who just absolutely refuses to put in the work, but then complains about not getting results. That can get a little frustrating too. But as a whole, I love it. But there are, of course, like anything, some challenging parts of it.
That's awesome. I think transparency is really important. And again, as being one of your clients, I struggle as well sometimes. So definitely share the feedback as he advised. I know it's something I need to work on. I think we all need to work on, but I think it's really helpful. So
we all have things to work on. That'll never go away. And you'll never necessarily completely get over some of those struggles. But if you can shift it to its minimal or very rarely, that's better than always on your mind all the time, always a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's great. All right. So hopefully kind of a hard question, but you're doing great. What is one of the hardest lessons you have learned in your personal fitness journey?
One of the hardest lessons that I learned in my personal fitness journey. I think that it's okay to make mistakes, that you're gonna goof up, you're not gonna know it all, and you can't get tied up into feeling like, well, you did things wrong, so you wasted all that time. So like, I'm a big proponent now of like flexible dieting, not falling into the all or nothing mentality, and creating a sustainable lifestyle. But for the first several years of getting into fitness, as you can attest to, I was very much a clean eater and hardcore, had to be on it 100% all the time. And I had to learn the hard way through the long run that just was not sustainable and that it would beat you down. And I did everything under the sun. I did carb backloading. I did keto before keto was really even a thing. Like, we're talking 7, 8 years, probably more than that, 8, 9 years ago now at this point. I tried that for a while, and I did every type of restriction you can think of and tried every other thing. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because you learn from that and you grow from it. The thing that you don't want to do is get caught up in, well, I did it this way, so I need to just continue to do it that way, or getting stubborn about it. It's like, as you learn more, be okay to evolve. And I had to shift my focus to now feeling like, okay, if I learn something new that could be helpful, get excited about it, because it's like, okay, now I have a reason that I can get better results. But I think at the same time, a big part of it is just not letting fitness take over your whole life. I definitely fell in that trap, and it was like nothing else mattered outside of, well, obviously I still cared about you and Cy and family, but it was like, It was 100% fitness all the time, and that was all that was ever on my mind, all I ever cared about. And it was too much. There needs to be balance. So I think that was a tough lesson to learn at first. And I think a lot of people get that, they struggle with it too, because it's like you get excited at first. You start to see results. Results are very motivating, and you want to do more, you want to get more. At a certain time, at a certain point, results are going to have to stop. Like, you can't see them forever. And learning how to get past that is challenging.
That's good. Okay, so we have another one. So I want to kind of rephrase this a little bit. Okay. So again, you've been in your business six years. So let's go back about 5 years, kind of to the very beginning of Colin DeWaay Training. What kept you going from that initial point to where you are now?
That's actually pretty easy for me to answer, and it's the same answer I give every time anybody asks me anything about, like, how do you keep going? How do you, stay motivated? How do you keep going through the difficult times? I hold on for dear life to the fear of regret. I really hate regrets. I hate them deeply, and I don't want to have regrets. And that's a big part of why we moved. That's why I changed careers and we made all these changes, because it was like, I didn't want to get to 80 years old and be at the end of my life regretting that I hadn't gone after it and made those changes, or at least try to go after it. Like, I would rather fall on my face and fail than never have gave it a shot. And going through the big time struggles of those first couple of years, when you're not making any money, it looks hopeless, you're getting no traction, and I'd be lying if I said I never thought about quitting, but there was no way I was ever going to actually do it because I knew I would just regret it so much. It would just tear at me if I just gave in and decided that it was too hard and gave up. And that's my why, and that's a big thing I always tell people is like, if you don't have a strong why when you're going after anything, whether it's your fitness goals or anything in life, it's too easy to give up. So like even when it comes to like fat loss goals, the goal of wanting to lose weight because you don't want to feel so fat, that's probably not going to get you there. It'll get you started, but when things get difficult, like it's going to, it's inevitable that things are going to become a challenge. If you don't have some sort of reason to keep going, it's going to be very challenging to get through those difficult times. So everyone's got different ones. For me, I always think the fear of regret. Anytime I'm in any situation in life where I have two choices, I can go this way or this way, I stop and ask myself, which one am I going to regret more if it doesn't go the way I had hoped? And if I'm going to regret it, I just don't do it. And I hold on to that. Other people, some people get health scares and their doctors tell them if you don't get it together, you are going to die. And they go, okay, like that's it, I'm done. I'm never going to go back ever again. Some people, have children and they want to set a good example for their children and they want to be around for them. So they hold on to that. There's no right or wrong answers. Whatever you can hold on to will push you through those difficult times. And that's what I held on to, especially that first year where I basically literally made no money. The first year I netted $112. I have that tax statement, $112 net. I made more, I grossed more, but I netted $100 on the year. That's a tough pill to swallow. Yeah. And I guess this is my video. I can do what I want, and I'm gonna ramble on a little bit longer. But that January, so the first year I made $100. Then I was like, okay, but January is coming around. This is my first January. Everyone knows that the fitness industry is a big boom in January. I'll see a bunch of clients and things will get going. I think going into January, I had 7 clients. By the end of January, I had 6 clients. I actually lost people. And that was probably the most difficult part of that all. That's when I kind of reached the bottom. It was like, oh my God, like this isn't gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like I'm failing. Like nobody wants to work with me. I'm not reaching anybody. My YouTube channel has no subscribers basically, and nobody's paying attention. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this, but let's just keep going. And grit is so important. I'm gonna talk about this in my next video actually. It's gonna be part of it, is how grit is such a huge part of any long-term success of anything. Like you can do a lot of things wrong and get great results if you just don't give up when things get hard and keep going, and that goes for everything, fitness goals, anything. So that's my very long-winded answer, but you know how I get, so.
That's okay. I love it. I love to hear you talk, so. And I'm a talker too, so. Okay, so now let's spill some tea and let's have a little fun. All right, so we're not throwing any shade, but we're gonna ask a question here.
Uh-oh.
All right, which is better? Deep fried Oreos from the Minnesota State Fair or your mom's homemade fudge?
The deep fried Oreos. Those are amazing. So the Minnesota State Fair is like the state fair of the entire country. Okay, obviously I haven't been to all 50 of them, but it's very well known that they have just a great fair. It's huge. They got everything you could possibly imagine, and there's a place there that has deep fried Oreos. Obviously they're not the only place to have them, but it's just, there's something about it. Like I don't know what it is, but it's arguably like my favorite food. And yeah, I guess short and sweet.
All right.
Deep fried Oreos.
I'm a little surprised, but.
Well, I haven't had my mom's fudge either in probably 15 or more years. Oh gosh, I'm 40 now, so it could have been since I was a teenager, honestly. So it's probably been 20, 25 years since I've had it. Okay. So you guys are going to make it for me over Christmas, right?
Yes, we
My mom will be here over Christmas, so maybe I can talk her into making it for me, and then we can do a real comparison.
We will, yes, because I am a baking queen. No. Okay. What is one fitness social media trend you're over?
It's kind of difficult. I have an answer about social media, but I don't know if I would call it a trend. I'm gonna give an answer, and then I'm gonna try to come back to the trend part. Okay. But I will say, what I don't like about social media in general, and you could maybe argue it's a trend, is that it creates a false reality. Mm-hmm. And it's basically a highlight reel for everybody. So it gives the misrepresentation that everyone's always doing great all the time.
Right.
And everyone goes on there and sees all these wonderful things and thinks, well, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I be like that? Why am I struggling so much and nobody else is? When in reality, everyone else in the world is having the exact same struggles. They just don't talk about it. So you don't ever see it. So you feel like, I hear it all the time, like, why am I the only one that struggles with this? And I'm like, you're not. Every single one of my clients has that exact same struggle. Like, it's just nobody's talking about it openly, which is why I try to do my best when I give personal updates every week or two or whatever it may be, to just tell people where I'm at and what's going on. And if I'm struggling, I'm going to say it, because people need to know that it's normal and it's okay to struggle, and life isn't all duckies and bunnies and rainbows all the time, and you're going to go through struggles. If there's one thing I can guarantee you, for the rest of your life, you're going to have good times and bad times. Like, it's never going to stop. You got to ride the waves, and whether you're in a good time or a bad time, it's going to go away. Like, it's never going to last forever. So that's why I'm such a big proponent of just keep showing up, because none of us are going to be lucky enough to escape the rest of our lives without something bad happening, or any negative circumstances or whatever it may be. Would you consider that a trend, or?
No,
No?
I mean, I would agree with you, and I'll just kind of chime in if that's okay. So,
Yes, please do.
I agree. So I'm on social media. I'm not very active at all. I think my accounts are on private. That's just how I am. But I'm very careful about what I follow now, and it's the same thing. I definitely, I'm 41 years old, and I get sucked in, and I see all the beautiful people, if you will, and I'm at the point in my life where I want positive energy, and I want to see the highs and the lows, and there's a lot of kind of fluff, in my opinion, on social media, so I just really limit even like what I scroll through, and just what I expose myself to. But again, a personal choice. There's a lot of trends. I could probably go on forever, but I won't. But I definitely agree with your answer.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna hesitantly say this, but the trend that I'm sick of right now is keto.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, and it's like, no, if you're keto and you love keto and it's your jam and you can sustain it, don't take that as, I think it's stupid and you shouldn't do it.
Right.
I think anybody should eat any way they want, that they like and they can sustain. And for some people, they love keto, it helps them, great, do it. But I'm sick of it being the new, like, fad magic cure that solves all the weight loss problems out there. There's plenty of research. If you don't believe me, let me know in the comments, and I'll send you some research that shows that it's not metabolically advantageous over a non-ketogenic diet. Is the main benefit of keto is that most people are not as hungry on keto, and therefore it makes it easier to reduce your calories because you're not hungry, and therefore you see better results. And then, too quickly, going back to the initial thing we talked about, you had mentioned, being careful what you let in and what you see, because we see all these beautiful bodies out there. Yeah. And a thing that I hear quite a bit is, well, it's hard not to judge yourself when you see all these beautiful, happy people that are living such great lives, when in the reality is, just because that person's in really great shape, that they have the body that you think that you want, that doesn't mean they're happy. And a lot of the times they're not. And honestly, in my experience in working with people, it's usually the people who have the best bodies that have the worst body image. And it's probably partially why they have such great bodies, because they feel like they're so hideous and unattractive that they work so ridiculously hard to try to look better, because they just have this really unhealthy relationship with their body. So don't think just because other people look the way you want to look, that doesn't mean that they're happy. And I'm happiness over everything. Like, yes, health matters. I will always say till the day I die that you should work on your health. You need to live a healthy lifestyle, no matter what your goals are. If you want to be the best at whatever you're doing, taking care of yourself is very important. But that gets taken way off the deep end sometimes, trying to do everything you can to just have the perfect body, so to speak, which doesn't exist.
Okay. All right. So you're stranded on a desert island by yourself. You can only bring 3 items. What are they?
Well, do I have internet?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, then I want a computer.
Modern island.
They have Wi-Fi, right? Computer. Let's see. Some kind of like weight set, like a squat rack with weights or whatever, if that counts, so I can keep my gains. And boy, this is really hard. I can't pick people, right? Can I bring you?
I would hope so. I was like, I hope I'm one of those three things.
Well, I was thinking things, not people.
Things,
But
people.
how about my family? You inside.
Woo, I started to sweat there, people. But please bring that child with you at least. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, and for the last question. All right. So what makes Colin DeWaay Training different from all the other online fitness businesses that we get flooded with on social media?
I feel like this is like a interview question, a job interview question. Like, what would you say your greatest weakness is? No.
Make it
I I work too hard, and I hate to talk about myself. I hate to try to pump myself up. It's just not who I am. I don't like to make myself sound like I'm anything great. But I would say one thing that sets me apart from a large majority of fitness professional is I truly, deeply care about people.
Yeah.
Like I really, really care about not just my clients, but everyone who reaches out and wants to improve their life. And I just really want to help them, and I care that they are happy and succeed. So much so that in the earlier stages, especially as a coach, it would almost wreck me when people would quit. Yeah. Like I would just be like devastated. Not only because I didn't want them to quit because I wanted them to succeed, but then I would beat myself up, kind of like, well, what did I do wrong? Like, why did I fail this person? I had to learn to kind of step back a little bit and say, okay, like I got to the point where it was when I started to make improvements was, okay, yes, look back when somebody quits and say, what could I have possibly done different to better help this person? Like what type of things could I have maybe done that maybe would have made a difference and kept them from completely stopping. But at the same time, also understanding that a lot of the times it's just there's nothing I could have done. There was something going on with that person and they just weren't in it anymore and they just didn't want anything to do with it and they were going to quit whether it was me or anybody else or whatever. So I think it's valuable to look back and think about that, but not to the point where, well, why am I such a crappy coach? And it's the same thing like with when you make mistakes with your eating and whatever else. Like we can never do anything about the past, but we always have control over what we're going to do now and moving forward. So don't beat yourself up and feel guilty when you make mistakes. It's going to happen. But take that opportunity. Like, don't look back as a way to, like I said, beat yourself up. But look back and, okay, what could I have done differently? How could I have made some improvements? How could I set myself up better to improve upon that situation and try to use that to better yourself moving forward? But yeah, I just I feel like a lot of coaches just care about the dollar signs, the amount of followers they have, trying to look good in front of other people. I feel like a lot of fitness professionals care more about impressing other fitness professionals than to do about giving good advice to the people they supposedly want to help. And a lot of people, it's not the right industry to just only care about money, because people do a lot of really harmful things. There's a lot of bad coaches that do really terrible things, and as much as I should almost thank them because they destroy people's metabolisms and then they come to me, I would rather them not do that to begin with. But yeah, I would say that would probably be what I consider I do well.
I think that's great. Well, thank you for having me on your channel. I hope I did okay.
You did great. But now I have a couple questions for you.
Oh boy, okay. All right.
And this is right off the top of my head. Okay. How many years have we been married?
Almost 17 years.
How many years have we been dating/married?
24?
26.
I'm like, oh.
So I wanted to put her on the spot because she is totally the dude of this relationship when it comes to things like anniversaries and things like that. So at least you got the marriage part right.
I did. I remember from last time you quizzed me in the car.
Yes, we are high school sweethearts.
Yes.
We started dating junior year of high school.
Yep.
And we were actually just looking at some old pictures. Maybe I'll put some on the screen as I talk about it here. And got married in 2004. And at that time, neither one of us cared about fitness at all. Like I kind of in and out of the gym sometimes.
I had just joined Weight Watchers and I got really
That's true.
thin.
That's right. You did for right before.
Yep.
Actually, she did the opposite of what a lot of people do. You know, most people starve themselves into a wedding.
Yeah.
You kind of did it after we got married.
Yeah.
And then lost quite a bit of weight.
Yeah, I think almost 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I was quite a bit heavier then, yeah.
Yeah, you made some really impressive progress. But then, and I was in and out of the gym a lot, but I never stayed consistent with it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Tell my story. I'm an average woman.
So, it wasn't until when Cy was born, 2008, was when I started getting like serious about it.
Yep.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I am going to put an end screen here of the video we did when we moved to Florida. And what I did was it was called Perseverance Pays Off, I believe, the move to Florida. And it talks about a lot of the struggles that we went through and all the different challenges that came up along the way to try to get down here and to change careers and everything else. It was quite a bumpy ride, but it just... I might watch it again myself too, because it's been a long time.
It has been,
But it will really show what I was talking about before, about how it really is like more about perseverance and just grit and getting through the difficult challenges and not letting obstacles and circumstances be any kind of reason why you can't do it, because as long as you keep going, you'll get there. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.